That's a win for the American people and for the President of the United States, regardless of which option the Iranians ultimately choose.
Vice President J.D. Vance on the peace deal signed earlier today by President Trump that formally ends the war with Iran and reopens the Strait of Hormuz. But on Capitol Hill, lawmakers remain divided on how win-win it actually could turn out. Hello, thank you for joining us tonight at 6. I am Hoyt. Many, like Louisiana Republican Senator Bill Cassidy, are criticizing the deal. They're calling it the worst foreign policy blunder in decades. Cassidy is. Minority Leader Chuck Schumer accusing the administration of giving in to Iran. And then Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton also says he has concerns. But he does say the president deserves some credit.
But I do have concerns that certain aspects of this deal might be a step in the wrong direction. But again, President Trump deserves credit for making Iran weaker than it's been in decades. I just hope that we don't squander the leverage that we've built through these military strikes and allow Iran to get back up off the mat.
The president responding to much of the criticism, saying gas prices will continue to fall now that the Strait of Hormuz is open. Senator Cotton spoke exclusively today with our own Brooke Buckner, and we will have plenty more from that conversation coming your way tonight at 10. A federal judge is allowing most of the lawsuit filed by Brian Malinowski's wife, Maria, to move forward after his death in 2024 when ATF agents forced their way into his home using a search warrant tied to suspected illegal gun sales. Police say Malinowski fired at least one shot and an agent returned fire. Justice Department lawyers tried to toss 9 claims, but District Judge Lee Radofsky kept 8 of those civil charges in place. The judge also removed the Bureau as a whole as a defendant. Well, a thunderstorm is heading toward Faulkner County. At least meteorologist Nathan Scott gave us that tip a little while ago. But it's likely not going to be enough to lift water restrictions for the utility customers there in Conway. Tonight, T311's Tanya Motorzitsky talked with Conway Corp's leaders for conservation reminders while they wait for rain.
The summer heat is turning up, sprinklers are running, and the 4th of July plans are ramping up. But in Conway, water conservation remains top of mind.
From a week ago, we've dropped about 0.3 of a foot. So we were at 320 roughly, now we're at 319.7, so we dropped about 0.3 of a foot. So it's concerning to me, but I'm not terribly worried.
That's because Conway Corp customers are still under phase 2 of its water curtailment plan.
In this stage right now, people can still fill their pools, but splash pads in the city are not operating.
A reminder that despite the possibility of rain in the forecast, protecting the city's water supply remains a shared responsibility. Brett Carroll with Conway Corp says they're currently getting 1 million gallons a day at no cost to taxpayers from other water sources and hopes the situation doesn't get worse.
We had a drought in 2012 and then another one I think in 2018. But yeah, we've been at phase 2 before. We've never been to phase 3, but we've been in phase 2 before, and it seems like we've always gotten rain at the right time when we need it.
In Conway, Tanya Motorzitsky, THV 11 News.
Tanya, thank you. And a reminder, if you're a customer with Conway Corp, you are asked to only water your lawn 3 days a week and no watering on Wednesdays. Other tips include washing clothes and dishes when there's a full load and avoid washing cars at home.
It's been a hot and humid day here in Central Arkansas, but a cold front is making its way into the northern parts of the state, and that's triggering a few showers and thunderstorms into the River Valley and also now getting into parts of Conway County and also Faulkner County. So you could see a quick downpour pretty close to Greenbrier, just to the north of Conway. Looks like a heavy downpour right over Dover at this time, and then even a few rumbles of thunder mixed in off to the west. So we'll have that small opportunity out there early this evening, but more showers and thunderstorms are anticipated as we go into the overnight hours with that frontal boundary continuing to slide its way down to the south. Numbers into the upper 80s to low 90s. It feels like 104 right now in Searcy, feels like 100 in Camden. Here's future radar showing the potential of showers and thunderstorms bubbling up along that frontal boundary through the overnight hours. And then Friday features a good bet you're going to have some rain and thunder, at least for parts of the day. Watching out for the potential a cluster of storms could affect you folks in southwest Arkansas and South Arkansas. And there could be some gusty storms associated with that that line. With the clouds and rain and also the frontal passage, temperatures will be a little bit cooler, highs topping out into the low to mid 80s. More on your weekend forecast coming up.
Improving a single kid's education journey can be life-changing. And Arkansas just did that for 44,000 of them. But we're not stopping here. Last year,
Tons of education news to catch you up on tonight. We're starting with the governor declaring that her sprawling education reform law passed 3 years ago is working. And now there are numbers to prove it, she says. According to the state education department, overall proficiency rose from 35% in 2024 to 42% last school year. Math climbed by nearly 8%, science by nearly 9%, and English by about 6%. Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders credits the LEARNS Act and says the results could serve as a blueprint for other states.
but Arkansas is solving the problem with LEARNS. Not just delivering the education we promised to our kids, but also creating a conservative blueprint for all of America. This is something that every single one of us can be proud of and celebrate, and I'm glad that we have the chance to do that here together.
The law has also raised starting teacher salaries in the state from $36,000 to $50,000 and created a merit teacher incentive fund, but it also created state-funded education accounts that critics say are being spent on private schools and homeschooling resources. One of the largest school districts in the state is looking more and more like it is about to be carved up. Jacksonville broke away from Pulaski County Special School District back in 2016, and now Sherwood is very close to following suit. Well, tonight, THV 11's Maya Ellison talks to the next group of local leaders in the metro, exploring the idea too.
I think it's time for Maumelle and surrounding areas to have a conversation as to what's best for our future, for our students and families.
District 71 state representative candidate Cassandra May says that message inspired her to raise a question she believes the community should consider.
Is it time for Maumelle to have its own school district?
In a video posted to social media this week, Mays called for a discussion on whether Maumelle should explore creating its own school district.
The community wants to have more local control over the educational options for the children that live there.
Mays says a district of its own could give residents more input on educational decisions and how local tax dollars are used.
They have more of a say-so in what the education options look like for the community itself.
Now, Mays says this process isn't easy. It takes time, pointing to examples like Jacksonville North Pulaski School District, who separated from PCSSD back in 2016. She says, though, the first step is already done, getting the conversation started.
I think that would be a great idea.
A mother who asked not to be identified says a smaller district could help address issues more directly.
I think it would help with streamlining some things because, like I said, the Pulaski County Special School District is pretty big, and so some things that pertain to one school is not necessarily going to be an issue at another school.
Still, Mays acknowledges there are questions that need answers before any proposal can move forward.
The pushbacks could come from several different reasons. Part of it is the state law. The state law is very clear as to what communities can do moving forward.
I reached out to the Pulaski County Special School District for comment, but have not received a response. Mays says regardless of the outcome, she believes Maumelle residents deserve a voice in the discussion.
It just gives us another option to consider when we look at parents making a decision for what's best for their child's education.
In Maumelle, Maya Ellison, THV 11 News.
Maya, thank you. And we did receive a statement from the school district that blazed the trail in this case, Jacksonville North Pulaski, and their superintendent, Dr. Jeremy Owa, says that since the separation back in 2016, building a new school system has taken years of planning and came with both challenges and major investments. Well, the Trump administration continues efforts to dismantle the federal education department with two new announcements coming out today. Programs for special education and rehabilitative services will now fall under the Federal Health and Human Services Department, while the Office of Civil Rights, which enforces anti-discrimination laws in schools, that's going to move to the Justice Department. This all requires an act of Congress to fully close down the Department of Education, but so far, Republican lawmakers have not made any moves to do that while allowing executive orders to go in place instead. And also happening today in Washington, a U.S. Senate committee moved out the Protect College Sports Act and moved it one step closer to a full vote. The bill would create a single national set of rules for college sports, including name, image, and likeness rules, instead of the current state-by-state patchwork. It also sets a 5-year eligibility window starting at age 19 or high school graduation. And it allows one transfer without losing eligibility. Sounds good, right? But the Big Ten and the SEC, the two big conferences, they are not fully on board, although 20 other college conferences are. And now that it is passed in that committee, it could be up for a full vote before the August Senate recess. Well, after the break, how one filmmaker is hoping to help others by sharing the stories of their challenging teen pregnancies, and how one doctor says it could all lead to success.
Showers and thunderstorms are a good bet, at least for part of your Friday. Maybe a longer duration of rain into South Arkansas, but there's rain chances. They will be trimmed back going into the weekend. Yes, there's a thunderstorm icon there, but it's going to be very spotty to isolate in nature. I'll have a look at future radar and talk more about your holiday weekend forecast coming up.